how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here, and today we are going to be talking about Shang-Chi, reviewing that. First things first, though, I want to get this out of the way. Two things. Obviously, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. But also, we were kind of doing a what-if scenario, like, continuation after the episodes. This one was supposed to be for the second episode. Luckily, I don't have to spend a lot of time on it. So I am going to sum up basically the timeline's doomed. All the Avengers were gone. This was for episode 2, by the way. All the Avengers were gone, and we only had the Ravengers to fight Ego, and they probably wouldn't know where to find Ego because none of them were connected. Maybe Yondu, but I think Ego is probably a little more smart to have like a middle planet to drop off people. So anyways, let's get into Shang-Chi. So this movie was phenomenal. It's definitely within my top 5 favorite Marvel movies. All around, just great. Great comedy, great fight scenes, some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in a movie. And great story, great actors, great choreography. I just remember sitting through this movie and going, oh my god, this choreography. Holy crap, every time there's a fight. And like when there was punches and everything, you felt the punches. Sometimes the fights felt like a dance. It was just great. It's great to have Shang-Chi as a like addition into the MCU. And I will say this movie completely subverted my expectations. I thought it was going to end up going into a completely different direction and almost be basically a like Mortal Kombat ripoff. And it was nothing like that. I thought, basically, this was my thought process going into the movie. I think I even told my friend, who, shout out to her, not saying your name publicly, but you know who you are, who's never seen a Marvel movie. Me and another friend of mine took her to see it. And, basically I told her, I was like, yeah, this movie's going to end up being some sort of tournament to unlock like eternal life or something like that, and he's the bad guy's son. So I was only right about one thing there. We did get a tournament scene, but it really wasn't as long as I thought it would be. Great cameos, by the way, for that. And it ends up being basically a film about like a family trying to get back together, but also the whole ending is a war. And it introduces like giant dragon monsters, kaiju things that you would not expect to see at the end of the Marvel movie, which is what I mean by this movie just kept subverting expectations, and I literally did not expect anything to happen in this movie that had happened. So we start off, literally the first, I think, 10 minutes is all in Chinese. Which was great for the immersion and just keeping it real. I mean, obviously you get subtitles, but it makes it feel like these characters are genuinely from China, which is great. And you get the whole backstory of, I want to say the Mandarin. I'll call him the Mandarin. I know he's technically not. Well, he is, but he isn't. It's complicated, but yeah, so like we start out with that, and then we cut to basically 20 years later, and it's our main protagonist going by the name Sean, he works a valet job with his friend who's obviously like would be his girlfriend, but they don't want to move to that next step, who lives at home. And this was something I guessed wrong, by the way, so I'm going to jump forward to, like, 3/4 of the way through the movie. So it's revealed that Shang-Chi ran away after killing his first kill for his father. So me thinking that, and we find out that Katie's grandfather passed away. So me thinking with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, completely thought that Shang-Chi killed her grandfather, thinking it was like that was going to be the major twist, and they never brought it up, so I was completely wrong with that. Anyway, so yeah, basically, Sean and Katie are living these like dead end lives, and then the next day they go about their business. They get on a bus, and we get the amazing fight scene between him and a bunch of assassins, and then him and Razor Fist on a bus, and it's just a phenomenal fight scene the whole time. The choreography is beautiful for this fight, and we just get into we get to the story there. He goes in, he meets we meet his sister, who they didn't mention until he mentioned he had a sister, and we get kind of the whole backstory of Shang-Chi and of Xiling through him informing Katie. So, I mean, it's a lot of exposition, but it's delivered in a way that would make sense. So, like, basically they've been best friends for 10 years, and he's revealing all this to her. So, like, if I was informing my best friend about something, I'm not gonna complain that, and somebody else is watching, they're not gonna complain about me just giving exposition about my family or something like that. Because obviously that's the only way to convey it in a logical sense. But yeah, so he ends up fighting his sister, and this is where we get a cameo from Abomination, who it's confirmed that Tim Roth did the voice for, and Wong, which is great seeing that. We also see an Extremis person in the Fight Club, and there's probably a lot more Easter eggs that I just didn't notice, but the Extremis one got me really excited. Anyways, so during that fight we're introduced to his sister, and then all of a sudden the Ten Rings come to attack, and that's where we're introduced to Death Dealer, which was looking to be one of the coolest characters. That's how I'm going to leave that. Then after that, they get captured, they go back, their dad reveals that he thinks that the mom was captured and he could bring him back and everything. Turns out that he's just going insane from the creature that we see at the end. And they end up getting under arrest, and we meet Trevor Slattery. Had a feeling he was going to show up, but I thought it would be a cameo and not like a big part, which he has. We also are introduced to Morris, which, according to my friend, is the 2021 Baby Yoda. But yeah, and they go into their mother's home, which is the Sacred Village of Talau, and then the dad shows up, they end up fighting, and then this is where I'll mention why this disappointed me later on, but the creatures come out, and Death Dealer dies, and then all of a sudden all the Ten Rings all the Ten Rings members decide to work with the citizens of Talau to defeat the monsters. Get a giant monster fight. Sorry, I had a hair flying in my mouth for some reason. Get a giant monster fight, and basically the movie ends there. Obviously there's post-credit scenes, but we'll save those for the end. So we'll talk about my favorite characters. We get two of them for this. Favorite scene, least favorite scene. It's not really a scene, but it's a character in general. And then the post-credit scenes along with a ranking. So, my favorite characters, honestly, Trevor. And my other favorite character is Katie. Just, I knew somebody that was a lot like Katie, so it was kind of funny to kind of see basically somebody I used to know in a Marvel movie. I don't know the actress, I'm just saying there's somebody that had very similar personality to her that I knew. Then after that, we move to my favorite scene. I think, honestly, my favorite scene has to be the fight in Taolao between Shang-Chi and Wenwu, aka his father, aka the Mandarin. That was just a great fight. It felt very Like, I kind of want to say it felt like Dragon Ball Z, but it didn't. But with how the rings were reacting and everything, it felt almost like a Dragon Ball Z fight. But it was really, really cool. And they do acknowledge that at the end of the movie. But yeah, and my least favorite thing, because it wasn't really a scene, but Razor Fist and especially Death Dealer were very disappointing characters. Razor Fist kind of, Death Dealer more so, because Razor Fist did kind of have like a few lines, and you could kind of get the gist that he was a high-ranking person in the Ten Rings. But like, they didn't really get character development, and I was like all excited for Death Dealer, seeing the figure, seeing like trailer footage and everything. And he has like one fight scene, and then he's just straight up dies during the final battle. And it was so disappointing to me, because it's like, okay, this cool looking character, and I'm totally backing, he's probably going to be my favorite, and like literally just straight up dies. It was kind of disappointing. That was the only disappointing thing. So let's talk about the two post-credit scenes. So the first one, we get Carol Danvers and Bruce Banner. And they're analyzing the Ten Rings, and I think what it is it's setting up the Eternals, and they're bringing the Deviants, or the Ten Rings are bringing the Deviants in. However, they could be also informing King the Conqueror, and that's how we're going to get Shang-Chi as one of the Avengers. Next is Xialing taking over the Ten Rings. We are made to believe by one of the last lines in the movie that she was shutting everything down, but it actually turns out that she was taking over, so that was setting up for the sequel. But yeah, so let's rank the movie all together. I give it a 9 out of 10. This movie was phenomenal. Only issue I had was Death Dealer. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's that Nerd Ryan telling you, we're all superheroes on the inside.